my God, that had an echo.
Hi, this is Jules Mitch from SETYÖURSAILS, and you're watching The Scream Dudes.
So, Jules, you founded or co-founded SETYÖURSAILS in 2017, but this format is called The Story Behind the Scream, and we always want to find out a little bit about the backstories of the vocalists we're interviewing. So how did they get into music, especially heavy music? What was the journey from you starting with music to founding your band and to being here now? What has happened? How did that happen?
Still asking myself that. I've always made music, even as a kid. Like, I got a guitar from my dad for Christmas when I was like 9 or 10, and then I taught myself how to play drums, and then taught myself how to play the keys, and then I taught myself how to play the guitar, and then I automatically got into songwriting, and then I started writing songs. And at some point, I think my best friend showed me the song "The Lines" from Beartooth.
Ooh, yes.
And it was fresh out. I don't know when it came out exactly, but it...
16, 17. I think that's also like one of my starting bands for metal, so I love that song. And I think it was 16, 17 when I got into it.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, something like that. So I was sitting in the car with him, and he showed me this band, and then there's this line, like, how does it go? Between the lines... Yeah. And then he goes like this, and I was like... Holy shit, what was that? Because it was the first time like someone was actually shouting rather than like screaming or like fry screaming or something like that. He was actually shouting like super loud and super aggressive, and I was like, holy shit, I want to try it. And then I found a band with my best friend, and then I just tried it out, and now I'm here. I don't really know how it happened. I moved from Frankfurt to Cologne, and then I searched for bandmates, and I randomly found Andre, my guitarist, on Facebook. And then we met, and then somehow SETYÖURSAILS became a thing, and then, yeah, I don't know. Since then, we're on the road.
Amazing.
Sounds really amazing, I guess, since you taught yourself everything yourself, drumming, singing. I guess screaming was the same then, all the way?
Yeah. I mean, I watched the Melissa Cross thing. Scent of Screaming, as everyone did back then. And I watched a couple of tutorials, but somehow I think you cannot really teach it. At some point, you have to try it out and train it. It's like, you know, at the beginning, even if you go into the gym, you cannot lift 50 kilograms. You have to start with 5 and then 10 and whatever. And at some point, you figure out a way how not to ruin your voice and how to breathe correctly and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And then it came with time, definitely. Like at first, I had some serious problems. Mm-hmm. Like it hurted, and I don't know, it was kind of weird. It felt weird. And then after a couple of years, I think I found a pretty good technique how not to ruin my voice. And I got my vocal cords checked regularly, and also went to a vocal coach to get into breathing, because that's the heaviest part about the set, because it's so exhausting and important to breathe correctly and stuff. Yeah, but I taught it myself pretty much, yeah.
For how long did you practice to scream yourself, and when was the moment when you said, "Fuck, I really need a coach myself. Like I need a coach who's teaching me. Was there like a turning point where you said, okay, I made this mistake in the past, now I know how to fix it, now it's much better? Was there like one little skill, one little trick that helped you? Was it a coach? Was it someone you found out yourself?
I've had some serious problems with my vocal cords because due to COVID, actually. That sort of ruined my vocal cords. I still don't know why exactly, but it started with I wasn't able to talk anymore. Like seriously not. I couldn't talk. It hadn't something to do with singing, actually. I had this huge infection after we played full force. Everyone in the crew was infected with COVID, and then I couldn't speak. And then I freaked out, I panicked, and then I went to a vocal coach, and she taught me even how to speak, because that's my main problem, actually. I can scream for 2 hours straight, no problem, but after the show, I go to the merch every time, and I talk to people, and then after that, my voice cracks. Okay. And like now, as I already told you, I went to a party yesterday, and then I screamed along to the songs on the that went on the party, and that's why my voice sounds like this today. So speaking is actually a huge point on how you know how it should feel like, because before that I was like talking like this, you know, like very soft and stuff like that, and I kind of like learned how to pronounce even
very
things.
Like
yeah,
direct.
Yeah.
Very on top of your mouth. Very.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. But there was no point where I had some injuries or something like that from screaming, actually. That never happened. But I've noticed I even had a good condition. I was like, you know, after 3 songs, I was like totally blown out. I was like, oh my God, how can I do that? And then I went to the gym for a lot of time to, you know, but I don't know how it got to that point, but that really helped me even to understand how the physics go on into your body and stuff like that. But no, due to singing, there was nothing really.
Good to know. This was your approach. That's very good.
Yeah.
Eric?
All right, like we already dived a little bit into techniques and the stuff you do. So if you feel up for it, could you give us a scream and kind of break down for us what happens in your body, in your throat? How do you produce the sounds? Yeah, so we do false chords in this case. So I was like, something like that. You do fries, right?
I actually, you know what? The fun part is I don't even know what I'm doing, but it works. Okay. It's not really, it's super extremely loud and super extremely aggressive. And it's like,
we love that.
And it's not like you demonstrated. I don't know how to do it. I tried this a bunch of times and it didn't work out. But what I loved about Beartooth was that it was like this extremely loud, aggressive stuff that was going on. So should I shout into your mic?
If you can.
Okay.
Let me shout.
It's definitely gonna blow out. I think.
Go ahead.
What's your name again?
Just scream.
Eric.
Oh, Eric. Oh, my name.
Yeah. And your name?
Julius or Julius.
Eric! Eric! Eric!
What the fuck?
Oh my God! That had an echo.
Yeah, it was like echoing.
Whoa.
That's what I mean.
I'm literally shocked.
But I think it didn't load. Okay. Fun fact: do you know Ghost Kid? Sushi from Ghost Kid.
He's my bro. We went on tour.
Oh fuck yeah! Julia, yeah. Fuck, yeah. I forgot you did Hollywood Suicide together. Did you record the vocals with him?
No, I went to my producer and he went to his, and then I sent him my stuff. So, but I'm friends with Sushi.
Okay.
He's also going to join us on this tour. Oh. It's still a secret, but he's joining us.
Okay, so can we publish this, or do we have to wait? Well, the interesting thing is we interviewed him at the High Flames Festival last year.
Yeah.
And he was, he was insanely loud. Like we sat next to him, we were like, oh, holy shit.
Yeah.
Irgendwie so, weißt du, also und dann drückst du halt so.
But I think your scream has a beat. Like that was, Okay.
Like every producer I go to for the first time, when I work with different producers, where I have a main producer, Julian Projka, Kus dein Auge. But every time I go to a new producer or work with other people, they always go like, yeah, just go, we're gonna do it, doesn't matter. And then I do a scream and they go like, okay, we have to do it a little bit less gain. The gain is always like at minus, I don't know, 1,000. Yeah. I don't really know how it's working, you know. What the fuck? Well, it's a different thing. I don't even know if it's even a thing. If people who really know what they're doing would be like,
you know, can you give us another one and let's maybe see if what we can hear. Maybe we can our knowledge with your knowledge figure. But like I don't know. I think if you have so much force into it, I think it's probably like a hybrid fry and false chord, because those are also some of the loudest ones we've heard so far. But yeah, like if you can, maybe a low. Julius! That's crazy. Oh, that's crazy. I have no idea. I have no idea how you don't blow out your voice. That's crazy, because like for us, even when we take it slow, our head voice usually is a little bit gone the next day. Like we need some time to get back to it, and we're not nearly on your level, even with our high screams. Are your high screams even louder?
No, they're the same. Like everything, It doesn't matter if it's high or low. But I think, you know, there's not really the voice involved, like the clean voice. It's like a pure, like shouting, as if you're super aggressive and you're shouting at someone, like, fuck off, you know? Yeah. I don't know, like road rage, you know? You're driving and someone's pissing you off and you go like, fuck off, you know? And there's no clean involved. I can do it, but it always ruins my voice. And
okay.
I do have a second technique that I use for my vocals, which is a mixture out of clean with a little bit of distortion. It's not screamed, but it's like crispy. I always call it crispy clean. And that is fucking your voice. That is fucking your voice. Like I have the feeling every time the clean is involved at some point, like very atone, it fucks your voice. Okay. But as long as it's just like, I always imagine it as if the vocal cords are just like doing like that, but they're not really touching each other, you know? They're not ruining something. But every time, like, you know, clean vocals or the voice is involved, like the clean voice, it's ruining for my part. Yeah. But I can do this for like 5 hours straight in the studio, it doesn't matter. But one party and I'm fucked. As you can hear. I don't know.
It's completely insane. Like, for me, it's very hard to impress me. And like nothing against all the artists we interviewed, but this was like one of the highlights on our 2 years journey as Scream Dudes. What the fuck? And also looking at the time, Eric.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. Okay.
Because we have also questions from our community. We asked them if they had questions for you.
Nice.
And we have one from Edgar's Fish Channel, a very loyal follower of us, Edgar. Greetings to you. You're asking, Jules, when you're writing or performing, how do you tap into that emotional space, and has your approach to expressing rage or pain evolved over time?
Ooh, that's a nice question.
Yeah.
So actually, what I write about is always something that triggers me or something that I go through. And so it's very personal, and therefore it's a lot of emotion. And then that's exactly what I mean by when I heard the song The Lines, because it gives so much more emotion if you actually scream it, you know, like everything. Like for instance, you say, "You mean nothing to me," and you just like sing it, "You mean nothing to me," and it's like absolutely no emotion, but you scream it from the top of your lungs. Holy shit, you get tears in your eyes. You know, that's why I was so shocked when I heard it, because it gave me so much more energy, even for songwriting, because I'm writing all of her songs. My rage has not evolved in any way. I'm still a fucking aggressive person, even in my personal life. I'm even in therapy because of that, actually. But it helps to get a little bit more of your physical energy out, you know? So you're a little bit more powered out. You know, when I come home from tour, I'm always like, oh, I don't care. You know, just do it. But when I'm not on tour, I'm like 100% on top. Like, I'm driving my car, someone is fucking me up, I'm completely freaking out. I'm out of my car, I don't know, spitting in their faces, I don't give a shit. Like, something like that. So it does help at some point, of course, because emotionally, you always go through the same shit. Like, you know, you wrote a song about something that really broke your heart at some point, and you go through it over and over and over again at every show. At some point, something happens that you're just done with it at some point. I mean, you can dive back into it, but you're okay with it. You went through the emotions over and over again. So therefore, it does help a lot to actually really write it down and to be able to perform it yourself. Is, as I always call it, my self-therapy, because it really works. Yeah.
Awesome. Wow. Okay. Second community question is from Infinite Versum, and he asks, how do you do your lows in terms of technique, mouth shapes, etc.? I mean, we already saw or you demonstrated a little bit, but maybe can you go a little bit deeper into how you achieve certain ranges?
Actually, the same as I shout all the time, but I do, of course, do this thing, because you have to go lower, so you automatically do this, you know. I can't really describe it. I don't know. It just comes naturally, and I just it's the same technique as if I would go very high or in the mids, except that I'm shaping my mouth differently.
So your source of distortion stays the same. It's just all mouth shapes and filters.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, so we're running a little bit out of time, but maybe like one more question that really interests me. I read an interview with you where you said when you first listened to Bad Blood, like finished, you were like, you didn't like it, and you were like, we have to redo it. Can you tell us like how do you work through self-doubt like that? Because we also know like we don't like hearing ourselves most of the time, but how do you work through self-doubt like that? And maybe how's your view on the record now? Because for me, it's like a perfect album. Like every song is a banger, like top to bottom. It's great. So I was really surprised when I read that.
First of all, thank you. Second of all, the thing with Bad Blood is, I have to break it down. So we went on tour, we played I don't know how many shows, and then our label said, okay guys, you have to hand in a new album. And I was like, okay, we only have 3 months left, or 4 months, I don't really remember. And then I was so fucking under pressure, and I called my producer. I said, okay, we have to find a way, because he's in Hamburg and I'm in Cologne. And the other thing is that I wrote this song only with my producer, so the boys weren't involved. It was only me and my producer, so I had a lot of pressure on this. And I came up with a lot of ideas. I wrote a lot of riffs, and I didn't like it. I threw it away, even with a song lately. I don't know if you know that song. I had lately on my computer for like 5 years, and I was like, this is such a shitty song, you know, I'm never going to show it to anyone. And then we were running low on songs. We had in at least 10 songs. And I was like, okay, I have one, but it's not good. And I sent it over, and he was like, you're so fucking dumb. It's fucking cool. And I was like, no, it's not. And then we were, you know, arguing about it. But we wrote it on remote, so he was sitting in Hamburg and I was sitting in Cologne, and then he was writing a part, I was writing a part, and then we passed it to one another. And then once it was done and everything was like mastered, it was the full thing, I got it and I listened to it and I was literally on the floor crying. I was completely freaking out. I was like, this is so fucking bad. This is the worst thing I've ever did. It sounds like shit. I don't like my voice in any way. Like, you know, I don't like, still I don't like hearing my voice. And I didn't like it. So I was freaking out and I was like, we have to redo it. Gonna throw it all away. And then the boys were like, no, we have to release it. We don't have any much more time. But of course, if you're so pressured, writing an entire album from scratch within 3 months, you always hear things, oh, I could have done this better, I could have changed this synth, and I could have changed this guitar, and I don't like the fill from the drums. And that's why I couldn't listen to it. Like, every time I put it on, I was like, oh my God, this is so fucking bad. Because it's so simple, you know? It's very, very basic, you could say. The riffing is very basic, the writing itself. But I always love the choruses. This is my main thing. I love writing choruses. That was the only thing that really, you know, put me a little bit back, thinking maybe it's not that bad. But I love playing it live, but I cannot listen to it on the record. Yeah, still, yeah, 100%. I don't listen to my own music.
Last question would be that we ask any artist always, do you have any advice for the people out there who just started screaming, who are interested in screaming, that maybe helped you on your way?
I'd say you have to try it, you know, do whatever feels good. I mean, you cannot 100% teach someone else how to do anything because you have to feel it yourself. People do feel differently about everything, I feel like. But as soon as it hurts, you should really go see a doctor, because you can seriously damage your vocal cords, and that would be permanently. So that's why I'm very paranoid. Yeah, and just keep going. I mean, whoever tells you shit, people were laughing about us. They were laughing about I'm always wearing a hat, or I don't know, I'm a woman who screams and shit like that. But you know what? We're selling out cool shows, you know, we're having fun with our friends, and the haters became quiet. So keep going and do what feels right to you.
Awesome. Super last question. What's next for Set Your Sails?
World domination. Something like that. A vacation would be a good thing, actually. Yeah, we skipped a lot of tours. We had a lot of tours coming in, people asking us to join tours, and we canceled everything to this time actually take time to go into the studio and go through every song and write everything with our hearts so that I won't freak out a second time. So just a bunch of festivals. We're going to play Wacken this year.
Super.
Fucking huge, insane. And you know what? Because of people who bought tickets for our show, because it's the most important thing for bands in our state, in our size, that people actually buy tickets. It's the main thing. Yes. You can tell promoters and stuff like that. So we're going to play Wacken, then we're going to play a bunch of other festivals, and then we do a cut. Then we're going to release a new record, and then we're going to be back on the road. But before that, we're gonna chill a little bit. Party. And party, yeah.
Wow. Jules, thank you very much for the interview. It was a pleasure. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, all that good stuff. And we see you the next time on The Story Behind the Scream. Okay, good. Last few things, super quick. Do you still have time?